Hey everyone, again, this is John Gatto, the Sports Information Director at the University of Scranton. And today we have another Royals Rewind segment. Today we will go back and look at the 2020 Landmark Conference Women's Basketball Championship game featuring Catholic and the Lady Royals at the University of Scranton back in February in the John Long Center. A reminder everybody out there to continue to follow us on social media at Royal Athletics on both Twitter and Instagram. And if you search the University of Scranton Athletics on Facebook, you'll be able to find us there. We'll still have a lot of information moving forward over the next couple of months as we roll through the fall semester, which will start at the university in a few weeks. So without further ado, here's this week's Royals Rewind segment. All right, folks, now the members of the women's basketball team that played in that 2020 Landmark Conference Championship game join us here. Bridgette Monahan, who was a freshman in that game and now is entering her sophomore year. Emily Shurina, who was a sophomore in that game and now will be a junior coming into the 2021 season. And Makenzie Mason, who was a senior in her final Landmark Conference Championship game back in February. So, guys, before we get into this, obviously on February 29th, that was a few weeks before really everything kind of changed in our world and in reality itself, with COVID kind of really coming into fruition 2 weeks later when we shut everything down. But since then, since that time, what have you guys been doing? Obviously, you all finished up your semester online, and how did that go? And also, what have you been doing to kind of stay in shape through the summer months here as we now are in the last day of July as we tape this, and we're now going into August here tomorrow?
I'll go first. Well, it's a little bit different for me considering I have graduated my undergrad, and I was supposed to experience my clinicals, like level 2 field work this summer for OT, and then come back in the fall and spring for my master's degree. So it's been a little different this summer because normally we have a 12-week long clinical session, and that got canceled, obviously, because of the pandemic, and they wanted to keep us healthy, and they didn't want new people coming in and out of the hospitals and stuff. So what I've basically been doing is just babysitting. That's normally what I do, is my job. And honestly, obviously, I'm not coming back for the next season if there is one, but I have been working out still. Gotta maintain what we still got from last season. So that's me.
As far as me, I would just say it was different, definitely finishing the semester like that. I mean, no one expected it. It was a little bit hard, navigating through how online worked and everything, but once you got the hang of it, it just went on as normal. And then I'm actually taking a summer class, which ends today. I get to take my final today. And then just as far as working out, with gyms being closed, it's been a little bit more difficult as far as lifting and whatnot. But I think I've just been trying to stay creative with it, trying to get outside, go do workouts, just body weight stuff, and just trying to get out as much as possible. Find a gym here and there every once in a while whenever I can sneak in. But other than that, it's really just running.
For the end of the semester for me, I'm definitely a face-to-face learner, but I was able to finish out the year pretty strong. But and then as for working out, yeah, I've been doing a lot of running. I've been working out with my brother, a lot of outdoor court sessions. I can't wait to get back indoors, like for the courts. But yeah, I've been training kids. I show up to their driveway and stay 6 feet apart and try to demonstrate stuff, but it's definitely a weird time. But yeah, that's kind of it.
All right, so it's obviously good to see you guys, we're doing what you need to do and staying safe during what's a very unusual time, obviously, for all of us as we are, rolling along here in the summer. But now we'll go back to February 29th, 2020. And, we are in a leap year, so that might explain why, we're having the year that we're having. I don't know. That's just my theory, I guess. But anyway, championship game in the Long Center against Catholic, obviously a long-time rival for us in women's basketball. In the semifinals, we knocked off Moravian at home 74-63. Catholic, who was the second seed in the tournament, they knocked off Eton 77-65 in the semis. So, guys, during the regular season, you split the series. You won the game at home on February 8th, 65-52, but then lost to them on January 18th, 65-62 in a very close game down there in D.C. And entering this game, that was the last loss you guys had. You had an 11-game winning streak entering this championship game. So coming into it, obviously playing Catholic, you know that they're a solid team, a very good team. They were kind of a borderline top 25 team coming into this game. So just talk about kind of the feeling of the team going in to a championship game. It was a hard-fought conference season to get this home game. So it had to be, I guess, a little bit of a consolation, a little bit of a reward to have this game at home, knowing that you would have the home fans behind you in such an important game.
Yeah, I think throughout that season when we lost Eton and Catholic towards the beginning of the conference play, we were fighting the whole season between Catholic and us being first and second, and we really wanted that hosting spot. And so it came down, I think, a numbers thing, I think, for the hosting when we played Moravian and they played Eton in the semifinals. And it was literally a matter of, I think, who won on their home court versus us or something. So it was like waiting to the last moment to know if we were hosting. So when we found out we were hosting, it was huge because we know that Catholic's a very good defensive team. They're very on ball pressure. They have a young team as well, very young, and they have a lot of depth as well. So we knew the home court advantage would be huge, and how hosting a landmark championship game at home is a lot more fun too. So it like I said, going throughout that season, hoping, like, fighting for that number one spot, it was tough, but we felt very rewarded at the end to be able to host it.
Yeah, I think personally, the matter of hosting was the difference between how the game, I mean, always you'd rather be at home. I mean, everyone would be. But playing, we just have, in the past, at least I've only been here 2 years, but in the past we lost a Catholic, and then we lost a Catholic again this year. And I think going into the game, knowing that we were hosting it, just had this extra confidence in us that at least we're on our home court. We always play better here. And, you know, when you go down to DC, it's a long drive, and we didn't want that. So we knew what we had to do, and we need to get it done.
Mm-hmm. I also remember not knowing, like, which way it was going to go, Catholic or us. And obviously we would rather prefer not to have a 4-hour bus ride before a game. And just like the crowd that shows up is always awesome. So it was really cool to get that home court.
It was also a coincidence too, because it was the leap year and Danielle was turning 5 technically because her birthday's that day. And that was technically going to be the 5-peat that day. So we were like, there were signs everywhere, like, we need to win this. It was great. It was a fun day.
All right, now we are into the game itself, the highlights of the game. You see here on the bottom line of the score. 3 minutes to go in the first quarter, and we lead by 2 points over the Cardinals. Again, right away, a very close game. Bridget, we see you bring the ball up the court as a freshman. Obviously, at this point, you're not necessarily a freshman by the time you get into a championship game. But still, I would have to think that there was some pretty big butterflies in your stomach coming into such an important game at home. Is that correct? Or were you just in your element and by this point so comfortable in the position that it was just another game?
Well, I definitely had to get used to it early on in the season. But by this time, I think I'm definitely a little more comfortable, but it's a big game, and for sure I was feeling the pressure, but yeah, it's something I had to get used to.
Monahan directing traffic once a Mason screen around her top of the circle. Right side for Quigley. Quigley goes back door for Mason. Mason.
I'll give it to Bridget. She, throughout the whole season, she was throwing a lot of things, and we expected high expectation. I remember coach being like, you guys, like, Bridget's a freshman, you need to come in here, like, be supportive. Like, she wants to please you guys so much on the court and help you as much as possible. And she really grew from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. I mean, I remember she would take the ball down and run all around the court. But when it came down to the end of the season, middle of the end of the season, she was very relaxed on the court. She was seeing the court really well, and we were really proud of her.
Oh, thanks, Mace.
One free to play in the quarter. Haftig around the screen.
So after a defensive stop, now we have the ball, and Lure Haftig puts it up and in, so she scores. And our broadcast crew, Dean Corwin and the good doctor, Harry Dammer, were absolutely shocked that she did that and scored. So obviously for you guys, not necessarily a score, but had to give you a little bit of momentum knowing that, wow, she's going to be getting involved a little bit here in such a
time Lily scores, it's like the bench gets so hyped. It's like it changes the entire game. Anytime Lily drives, everybody's like on edge, and everybody wants to see what she's going to do. It's great.
It definitely always gets us going for sure.
Yeah.
she's a very unselfish player, and she's very good with seeing where we're open. So when she scores, we're all freaking out. And I remember like throughout the season, we've been trying to get her to score a 3-pointer, and she tried so hard, but it's very exciting when she scores.
So we move ahead to the second quarter. You see here, it's only 15-9. So offense is at a premium here in the first about 13 minutes of the game.
Back out front for Mason. Mason right side for Monahan. Monahan to Recupero. Down low for Mason. Mason flipped it up. Good! And a foul!
Our moves, Mason.
Classic Mason move.
Yeah. And you saw, and seeing that play again, you see there, Mason, they really were kind of like keying in on you, but you were still finding a way to score throughout the course of the game. Why was that happening? Even though that they were really keying in on you, and you were still kind of trying to find a way. What were you doing to kind of get yourself open in those situations?
Honestly, I mean, the whole game, I was on such a mission to do whatever we needed to do to win that game. And I know for some reason I would always go on the left fadeaway for a layup. And so teams scouted that. So I'm like, we're going to go on the right side. Even though I am a righty, it's probably a lot easier that way. And so it was just a matter of feeling out where the girls were. And they were doubling everything inside when the ball went in. Because that's how our game is. We're a high-low game. So like I said, I was literally trying everything. I wanted to win so bad for all of us to get this championship. And as a senior, it's a whole different feeling to get that championship win. Yeah.
Up too strong. Rebound to Lily.
So here, after a quick miss by Catholic, we go right back on the attack.
Three. Yes!
You knock it down. So throughout the course of the year, your role on the team really expanded throughout the course of the year compared to your freshman season. So being in a championship game, you have the green light to take that shot if you're open. Making that first one, it had to feel pretty good, and you had to know that, okay, like I may be on today and I'm going to be ready to fire away if I get the ball.
Yeah. Always in every game, when you make the first one, it gives you a lot more confidence shooting the rest of them. I know for me, it's something I have to work on when like you miss the first one, you don't want to get too down. But that was just big because it was like they had just missed quick, and then we came running down the court, and then that was just a quick three to just get us up again, and it was good momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Momentum sticks around here. We're still leading by 6. Catholic's hanging around. Again, playing a pretty good team, so it's not necessarily like they're going to just fold away and go back into the bus and go back to DC in the second quarter.
Back door for Shurina. Back out front for Mason. Straight away 3 again. Good!
It makes you find yourself open and knock it down. So sure, you found her there and she knocked it down. So once again, you found yourself there, Mace, open, and that was the final basket that we scored in the half as Catholic went on a little bit of a run to go into halftime. But we still led by 5, 28-23, heading into the half. So going into halftime with Coach DePillo, guys, what was his message to you guys going into the half? You're up by 5. You've pretty much been leading the whole first half. But still, you're playing a really good team that, you had to think at some point potentially could, get themselves back into the game and really make a game of it.
Yeah, I mean, going into halftime off that shot, it was a nice momentum builder and a positive thing going into halftime. And before Coach got into the locker room, usually we have a few minutes as a team to kind of go over things and talk about what to do better, what we feel we're doing well. And it was basically just like us seniors and looking at each other like, left to get this win and this championship in our fourth championship in a row. And honestly, no one was ever negative. We were looking at each other like, we have a little bit of a come out strong from this lead into the second half, and hopefully still win.
Okay, so we go into the third quarter now. It's not halftime. That is incorrect on the bottom there.
Into the front court.
See, we scored the first basket of the quarter, so we're up by 7. So we still hold a pretty sizable lead here.
Mason back to Warhaftig, corner for Sheehan. Sheehan to Warhaftig. Back to Lily. Goes to the elbow. Now bring it out front. 6 to shoot. Warhaftig. Step back. 3. No good. Rebound. Recupero. Put it in and fouled.
See there, We'll have a few highlights here of Soph as we go into the second half. So that was her first basket there early in the third quarter, and a really, really great play, a heady play where she got in between and got her offensive rebound there. Guys, let's talk about kind of her contributions to the team throughout her career, and obviously in this game where she makes some pretty big plays for us throughout the second half.
Well, obviously for me, Soph and I, the last 4 years playing with each other, we've had this like high-low connection, and I always know when she's down low, I can find her, and she has had some trouble in the past with some foul troubles, so that was huge in that game. When she came out, we came out in the third, and she came out and foul because that whole game she was fighting fouls and she was in and out, and that was a boost of confidence for her. It was a boost of confidence for all of us, knowing we're coming out strong. But no, Soph's been awesome the last 4 years in her entire career. She's a big body down in the paint that's very strong. And like I said, I throw some passes down to her and she catches them, and I don't know how she does it.
Yeah, she's such a presence down low too, and you can tell like in that play she just really outworked that one girl, and that's just such a mindset of how she is and everything, and how she works and how she plays down there with rebounding and everything. And that was a play that really stuck to who she is, and it was a nice putback.
Yeah, I loved playing with Soph. You could always hear her voice on the court, like directing us and helping us what to do. And she was really good at knowing when to like finish and go up and kick it out. So she was really fun to play with.
We'll head here a few minutes.
Gives to Sheehan. Sheehan straight away three. Got that one.
Emily Sheehan there making a three. So she gets in on the act. So we now lead by 10 points. So here in the third, in the third quarter, we only, you guys hold Catholic to 8 points. I just, you three talk about the defensive mentality that this program continues to have, even now with Coach Chappelle taking over this past year. It's obviously a hallmark for the program over the last 5 or 6 years, and it's definitely something that you guys wear it on your sleeve for sure.
Yeah, we definitely do. Do you want to go, Mason?
No, you got it.
I think that honestly for us, we kind of shied away from it in some games, and we quickly realized, when we do that and when we don't play our best on the defensive end, we always are not as happy in the outcome. We're always like, we played well, but our defense can always be better. And as we went on in the season, we all came together as a group, I think, and mutually all agreed that when we play our best, it's when we're playing our best defensively. And when we truly lock down, teams have a very hard time scoring against us. And I think that that's something that has been in the program for years, and I think will continue to be.
For Sheehan.
Really does win games.
36-28. Shurina.
Defense leads to good offense, and the defense is the kind of thing you can control. I mean, everyone always says that, but you'll find your shots once you get rebound that you have in your control.
Yeah, Coach Nick definitely harps on our defense, even in practice too. We got a lot of defense drills, and he has us picking up full court. He's definitely helped my defensive game, I think.
So we move a little bit ahead here, and we'll talk about offense for this last little bit of the thing. And you find yourself open again and knock it right down. So that gives us an 11-point lead here late in the third quarter. That was your second made three, I believe, of the game. So again, we talked about defense, and you then go out down the other end of the court and make a block going inside, and we go right back on the attack here.
1:30 to play in the third. Royals by 11 in the ball. Monahan on the dribble to Mason. Right side for Sheehan. Sheehan around the screen. Sheehan kick out for Shurina. Extra pass to Warhaftig. Warhaftig kicks it to Mason. Just inside the line. Hits!
Catholic calls a timeout there, and you can see we now lead 41-28. Actually, we call timeout, not Catholic. So at this point in the game, late in the third quarter, we have now opened a double-digit lead. I know, there's still a lot of time left, but at this point in the game, did you guys feel that you had control of it and really, it was kind of not academic, but you knew that if you kept doing what you were doing, that this was going to be put away at some point in the fourth quarter?
In these type of games, I don't know, I never feel comfortable at where we're at. I just always feel like we got to keep building on that. I mean, the 10-point lead definitely felt better than what we had, but I don't know. I still felt like we had to keep going.
It obviously felt better once you get the momentum. You can always feel it. You start to, it's a landmark game, so you always have some nerves. But as soon as you start getting the momentum, shots are going in, like we're playing good defense, you always settle more, where you're just more confident and you feel a lot better just about the game in general. And when we get our momentum going, it's hard to stop us. So
I think you get that feeling with Catholic that they kind of knew, like, they lost their momentum, that they didn't have momentum, but once the other team realizes that the other team's down and realizing they're probably not getting back into this, you go off, and it's awesome.
Yeah, and at this point, we definitely didn't let them speed us up.
For 3, good.
See there, Shurina, make another 3. That was a long one there, and that actually beat the shot clock. So in my opinion, that probably, it was late in the third quarter, but you make a 3 like that, off of kind of a play where, late in the shot clock and you just kind of throwing it up there and it goes in. After you made that, after you go into the huddle, going into the fourth quarter, I mean, in my brain, I thought there's no way Catholic's coming back from this. I thought that was a very important shot in terms of the momentum moving forward. And we see here, we're almost halfway through the fourth quarter and we lead by 16. Once we got the double-digit lead going into the fourth quarter, we never gave it up the rest of the game. Catholic was really unable to get anything going offensively, thanks to your guys' very, very strong defensive effort.
Got it inside. Recupero layup.
We see here I think my favorite play of the game, where Sophia Recupero kind of just and flashes to the paint and no one picks her up, and we go up by 18. So the rest of this video will pretty much be a highlight reel for us. We really kind of put the icing on the cake in the last few minutes of this game. So,
holding. Back out Shurina.
I mean, even when we looked at the double, I looked up at the scoreboard at one point in the fourth quarter. I realized we were up by that much. I was like, shoot. I was like, you kind of become more.
53, 34.
I mean, you can see the excitement building with the crowd as the fourth quarter was on. The lead, we're kind of getting more excited.
So you saw there, Emily, you make your fourth 3 of the game to put us up by a lot, and it just continued from that point on. We see her at the end of the game. So we see here at 63 and actually 42 in the last final seconds of the game.
Seconds running out, and the Royals are the Landmark Conference champions for the 5th year in a row.
So you see the celebration begin, guys. Just kind of, at that point, the one of your goals is done. You've won the Landmark Conference for the year. To talk about what's for each of you, what's going through your minds. Mace, this is 4 in a row for you. Emily, this is 2 in a row, and Bridget, for you, this is the first time that you experienced this. So I would say for each of you, probably your mindset at this point is probably a little bit different, but still at the same time, it's just an incredible accomplishment for you guys.
I think it was complete and utter relief on our part, the seniors' part at least, because we've talked about it all season long. We wanted it so bad that there were times where we were like, are we going to get this? Are we going to don't get our conference championship win? And so when that buzzer went off, it was just relief. 4 years, and to win it all, and it being over, getting the T-shirt, that was just, it was awesome.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't think it gets any better, honestly. Freshman year winning it, then this past sophomore year winning it. I think that it's always just, when you win the conference, it's always just the best feeling, and I don't think that will ever go away. You always look forward to the end of the game when we all run together. And honestly, we just look forward to keep playing and that we get to keep going on. So I think it's a great feeling, honestly. And obviously for our coaches, that's his first win too. And it was just a great day.
Yeah, this was definitely an amazing feeling. The seniors and everyone else on the team having those other 4 conference wins, I was glad we didn't let them down and we were able to get another one. But yeah, getting that first championship definitely felt good.
See here the awards presentation. Mace, you win the conference MVP, tournament MVP award. You finished with 21 points, 12 rebounds, 4 blocks, and 3 assists. So justifiably earned. Congratulations on that again, months later.
Catholic, 16 of 49 from
So, how did it feel to be, to kind of, bookend your career with this award? You obviously won the MVP of the conference 2 years in a row, but to win it for the conference tournament had to be gratifying for you for sure.
No, I mean, it felt very good. I mean, I had a conversation with Coach a few days before the championship, and he was like, I need you to play some big minutes out there. And I'm like, play me as long as you need to. I'll play the whole game. I'm like, I just want this so badly for me, for my teammates, for you guys, for the coaches, for the school. And so, I mean, throughout the game, you're not worrying about the MVP award. You're worrying about that T-shirt and that trophy for your team and that championship. So it was icing on the top of the cake, obviously. But I was just so hyped and happy that we won the whole thing. It was fun.
Here, the final highlight that will show 4 seniors going and getting the landmark plaque. So an incredible accomplishment for those 4 young women to win 4 conference championships in 4 years. Just incredible. And obviously one thing that you can't be remiss to talk about is Coach DePillo. His first year in the program, obviously there was a lot of pressure on Coach and you guys this year after going to the Final Four last year. So just to end it, just kind of, to end this kind of portion of what we're going to do today, talk about what it meant for you guys to win it for him, knowing that, it maybe wasn't smooth sailing the entire time throughout the course of the season, but at the end of it, he was able to finish on top and win a conference championship in his first year as head coach.
I mean, it's tough enough for him to come into a program such a strong program and so decorated. So, I mean, he the whole time was wanting to do his best and not to lose the tradition of everything. And I think he did honestly a very good job. I think as the season went on, he learned a lot and we learned a lot from him and we were able to figure out the kinks and all that stuff. But he was was very happy with my experience with him as my first head coach because it's tough. I mean, he knew like he's coming in with a group of seniors and all that kind of thing. And so we were very, very happy with how he was. He was very willing to listen, willing to get you the ball where you wanted to get the ball and shoot it whenever you wanted to shoot it. It was a very positive experience. And hopefully if there's a winter season, I'm excited to work with him as a grad assist. We'll see.
Yeah, I would agree, honestly. It was a lot of pressure for him, honestly, coming in. He came into a team that had just made it to the Final Four with a relatively similar team that he'd be working with as we were last year, minus like a couple people. And I think that for him, like he wanted that so badly for us and we wanted it so badly for us that together we all had the same mindset. So I think when you all are working toward the same goal, it's so much easier to get there. And I think he helped us, minus the few things that it took to adjust to his style of play as opposed to our previous coach. But I think that all in all, he did a wonderful job. And it was great working with him day in and day out, practices and games. And I'm happy that we all were able to do it for not only ourselves, but for him.
Yeah, coming in, I was definitely nervous about the coach changing because I was new and I don't know, I was scared just because I didn't know what we were getting. But I'm really happy we ended up with Coach Nick because you can tell he put so much time in and he really did all he possibly could for us. So to get that championship win for him too was a really good feeling.
And he brought in that D1 experience from Seton Hall and WNBA. So when we figured out he was hired, we were like, oh my God, he has all this experience. Is he gonna kill us in running drills? They were so intense up at those levels, but he brought a lot of cool experience from those coaching positions, which was fun.
Yeah, I think we helped him too. It was a very teacher player moment where we helped him ease his transition into D3 and he helped us bring up our game to where he was at maybe a little bit.
All right, terrific. So it was our 5th straight Landmark Conference Championship, as we talked about. It's the 8th one that we've won since the conference was formed in 2007, 2008, and it was our 26th conference championship all time. Some final stats. Mace talked about your line, but Shu, you had 12 points on 4 made three-pointers. We saw all 4 of them during the highlights, and they were all huge threes throughout the course of the game. And Bridget, you had 11 points and 3 assists. I think the most important stat of the game, talked about, Catholic was held to 7 points in 2 quarters, the first quarter and the third quarter. Really, that third quarter is where we put it away. And then we held them to 32% shooting from the floor, and they made 1 3 the entire day. So really an incredible day for our team. Another conference championship for the Lady Royals. Guys, just to end this, talk about the season and, you know, really kind of the memories that you had from this past year. And, you know, is the Landmark Conference Championship game going to be the one that kind of sticks out amongst all the other ones that you guys created throughout the course of the season?
I wouldn't change anything about the season, regardless of the first round NCAAs that we lost. I look back at it now and I see that we've gone so much farther in the past. But if you look at it, that week after we lost, like, the NCAAs were canceled. And so it kind of was like, you know, maybe it was a good thing it worked out that way. And it was a very interesting way to end the season. But I wouldn't change anything. It was such a fun time with the girls. We were a very close-knit team. We won all our tournaments. We won the Landmark. So we hit most of our goals. And although it was unfortunate we lost our first round of NCAAs, to look back, kind of hindsight 22, I think it was a good way, considering this whole virus pandemic thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the same thing. Like, we could say like we could have won that game in Vegas, or we could have won our first Catholic or E-Town game, but those losses definitely helped us later on in the season because we kept that like feeling in mind when we were playing them for the games that really counted. So yeah.
Yeah, I think we grew a lot as a team together. You know, we went through some things with our, like, losing a couple of games here and there, and I think it helped us all in all get to our Landmark conference championship game. And honestly, we had such great chemistry both on and off the court. I think this was probably like one of my favorite teams. I mean, I've only had 2 teams so far to play with, but honestly, this year was so much fun, and I really enjoyed it. And I wouldn't, again, like same thing Mason said, I wouldn't change anything. Even though it didn't turn out the best way, but there was really no turning out because of Corona.
Yeah, and obviously we're still dealing with that. We'll see, obviously, when you 3 will be, you know, obviously Mace will be helping us out on the bench, hopefully, and for Shu and Bridget, we'll hopefully see you guys on the court in 2021, early 2021, and we'll get back on it. And I think at this point, just tell everybody out there, keep wearing your masks, keep washing your hands, and hopefully we'll have Lady Royals basketball in January if we all do that. So, guys, thank you. Have a great rest of the next couple of weeks as we count down the summer, and we will see everybody on campus hopefully in a couple of weeks. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
And thank you for all you guys do in the athletic departments. You guys are doing a ton of hard work down there for us to have our seasons, and all the writings and all the time you spend setting up our games. It doesn't go unnoticed, and you guys are a huge help to keep us doing what we love.
All right. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.